Hi, everyone. I'm back with the second half of the long diary for 15th April 1906, which was a Saturday. And this is very interesting. And poor Dmitri is trying to figure out what goes on with 16-year-old girls when they suddenly get upset about things and it's not apparent why. So yeah, interestingly, I spent some time yesterday at the catering kitchen with my 16-year-old niece. There was a big event, and the whole family was pitching in, and the niece and my niece worked for a while, but then she got bored and unhappy, and she was so angry at her parents because she was stuck there. She doesn't quite have her driver's license yet. She just needs to pass the test. And so I was not in the firing line, thank goodness. But yeah, it's, made me laugh when I was translating this today, thinking that, yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we've seen with Dmitri. There are just universal aspects to life as a teenager. Okay, so I will dive in. Something very strange has happened to Maria. She's so stuck up and so rude and defiant toward GM that it's terrible. Yesterday, for example, she slammed and locked the door right in his face in front of Volkov, without thinking, I suppose, about whether it was a good thing to do or not. And she did it on GM's birthday, but she herself wouldn't let anyone treat her that way, let's say on April 6th. Oi, 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 no. On the contrary, when I wanted to do something in a different way from what she wanted, she was frightfully offended. And today she continues to be rude, for example, in front of the footman. She threw an orange at GM, and when Miss June began scolding her, she said it was too bad that it hadn't hit him in the face because that's what she had intended. And this in front of people. I don't understand what's gotten into my sister. My God, I don't understand. And the thing that's equally unpleasant is that I can't say anything to her because then she'll start mocking and scolding me in front of the sovereign and empress, and that would be really unpleasant. Today, there was a real storm with lightning and thunder and even hail, which is worse. I so much hope, please God, that I'll do well in front of the sovereign on the 17th. If I don't, it will be such a scandal that it's better if I don't even think about it. Please God, please God, please God, let everything go all right. 10:45. All right, what to do with this situation. So we don't know what has gotten into Dmitri. Maybe if we were there, we could figure it out, knowing teenagers, but Dmitri can't figure it out. Apparently, it's unusual behavior that has had a sudden onset, and the main issue is between Laming and Maria. She's obviously very, very upset with him. I can picture my niece slamming the door in the face of one of her parents and locking it, but I can't picture her throwing an orange at them. I can picture her doing that to her brother, but not to her parents. And then saying, well, I wish it had hit you in the face. There are two things that Dmitri is really concerned with. Actually, I should say three, because one of the things he's concerned with is just that he can't figure it out. The other thing is that it's affecting him directly. So his sister wants her own way, and when he wants something else, obviously she's not putting up with that. And the other thing being that he's just mortified that she's doing this in front of other people. I mean, never having had servants, I'm not quite clear on what the approach was to that, whether you just pretended they weren't there and did whatever, or whether you had to sort of be careful not to let them see every aspect of your life. And my British friends can correct me if I'm wrong, but my impression is from reading literature and from hearing people talk that in Britain people did tend to take that approach that you don't take the presence of servants into consideration, or else you'd sort of have to be on your guard all the time. But maybe that was different in Russia in general. Maybe it was just different with Dmitri. I do recall when he first arrived in Britain, in his diaries after the revolution, he was a little befuddled, and he writes explicitly about that, at how the British treat their servants as sort of non-people, whereas in Russia, he claims that, that servants were to a certain extent integrated into family life, and that there was sort of more warmth between servants and their employers. And yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if that was just something that was in Dmitri's own household or the households he'd been in. And I don't know if his perception of what was going on in England between servants and their employers was as he describes it, but he did find it different from what he was used to and rather off-putting. And I wonder if, sort of paradoxically, it had anything to do with the fact that servants in Russia were, until the middle of the 19th century, actually serfs, and that there was this very paternal view of the connection that ideally should exist between serf owners and the serfs. And if that sort of attitude persisted, but I shouldn't say that, because serfdom was, basically slavery, and there were plenty of serf owners, and who knows, maybe the majority that didn't take that sort of benevolent attitude, which would always have been patronizing, even if it wasn't. Even if there weren't other negative things about it. Okay, I'm digging myself into a hole with that one when I should just leave well enough alone. I don't know if Volkov was a servant or not. The footman is not given a name. So let's see. Yeah, so this alarms Dmitri. He genuinely doesn't know what's going on. And I mean, to me, it seems clear from what from reading between the lines, even in Maria's memoirs, that she was dealing in a different way from how Dmitri dealt with the fact that their father had basically abandoned them, and that they were not living in a nuclear family. And yeah, but this seems to have been an issue in particular with GM. And if there was some incident between the two of them, then Dmitri doesn't know about it. Okay, but he remarks that he doesn't dare say anything to her, because she will basically, to use modern parlance, she will go off on him in front of the sovereign and the empress, not even just Uncle Nicky and Aunt Alex. And speaking of the sovereign and the empress, the pressure is high on the little guy to perform in this first big event of his life. You can see on my Facebook group, Grand Duke Dmitri Diaries Facebook group, you can see a photo of him in 1905, when he first became the honorary commander of the 2nd Rifle Battalion. And there's a photo of him walking behind the Tsar as the Tsar reviews the Italian. And even in that photo, he looks a little bit hesitant, a little bit daunted. But now he's going to be front and center and doing this on his own, not only in front of the public, but in front of the Tsar. You already know about this. So please God, please God, please God, please God. And he even draws a little cross in the text, which is something he continued to do as an adult when there was something that he was particularly worried about, or when something had happened that was unexpectedly good. So, yeah, I think I will leave it at that. And I'm just too tired to make it to the library today to do the digitization of the Coco diary entries. The last 2 days, there were such big events for the catering company that I really had to pitch in, and it was exhausting, and I'm not used to it. So today I'm just going to completely relax, and hopefully we can get on board tomorrow. Is the library open on Sunday? Or at the latest on Monday, returning to the 1921 diary entries, unless I can actually find something today at home that I've overlooked. Anyway, thank you as always for your viewership and your patience. And if there is a teenage girl in your life, think of Maria and be especially patient with her today. All right, bye.